Okay, so we're going to remind you of the poem that we once finished in the class, that is the fog. Others, almost all the chapters we have completed in the class, and this is a small poem. So we shall try to analyze this today in the class. Almost all have joined. Actually, I did not think I would be able to take the class today because I was down with a complete body ache. I got vaccinated day before, and after that, there was immense body ache, and I was completely bedridden. And hopefully, I'm okay for taking a class again. So please open at page number 115. It's a very small poem, and very easy to understand though. So taking this poem, by Carl Sandburg. So let us know a little bit about this American writer and editor. So Carl Sandburg was an American poet, writer, editor, best known for his poetry. So if you have ever heard of Rutabaga pigeons, Rutabaga stories, so these are all related to Carl Sandburg. He even won the Pulitzer Prize. He felt that European stories involving royalty and knights were inappropriate, and so popularized his stories with skyscrapers, trains, corn, ferries, and 5 marvelous pretzels. So this a little bit about his life, and let us now invest our interest into this poem, which is a mere 6-line poem, and this as analyzed, it can be analyzed into 2 complete sentences. If you look at the poem a little bit closely, the entire poem is made up of 2 sentences. So what does the poet actually try to make us understand through this? Let us try to understand this. Okay, so this poem is completely about how he compares the fog, which comes very stealthily to us. It surrounds objects of nature in such stealth that the poet tries to compare this activity to the feline creature cat. So Fog by this poet Carl Sandburg is a simple poem that aptly describes the characteristics of the fog that envelops the city and the harbor. How does he say it? He says in this way: the fog comes on little cat feet. And here he ends the sentence. The fog comes on little cat feet. In such a simple, lucid sentence, he says that he compares the fog to the cat. In such simple sentence, he does it. The fog comes on little cat feet, he says. And then he says, it sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches, and then moves on. The poem does not have a rhyme scheme. and it tells in a very few words how the fog visits the city like a feline creature, and after silently hovering over it for some time, just sneaks away, just moves away, just like we sometimes come across cat in a nearer a household or somewhere. And if you look closer at the cat, you will see that the cat sits for some time and on haunches with the four legs. It sits straight, now sitting on the haunches, and it does it. That position is sitting on the haunches, sitting with bent knees, of course. Okay. So if we analyze the poem, what does Sandberg think the fog is like? Sandberg compares the fog to a cat, of course. Okay. So how does the fog come actually? The fog approaches stealthily and silently like a cat. And we find in the third line, there is a word it. In the third line, the sentence begins with it. It sits looking. So what does it refer to? It in the third line, now it refers to the fog which approaches as stealthily as a cat and then envelops the whole city silently. Yes. So there are certain things, and there are three certain things actually in this poem which tell us that the fog is like a cat. There are three things. We have to understand this because this may come as question answers. In the question answers perspective, this is important. So does the poet actually say that the fog is a cat? No, he doesn't say it. Okay, but he uses this metaphor. No, he uses this metaphor. He very metaphorically he says this. The poet does not actually say that the fog is like a cat, but metaphorically gives their similarities. Now, what are the similarities he gives? That is quite understandable. So you may mark it and keep. Okay, three things that tell us that the fog is like a cat. What are they? It approaches the city silently just as a cat, is it not? It approaches the city silently just as a cat walks on soft padded feet. No, without making any noise, very stealthily it approaches, is it not? So it approaches the city silently just as a cat walks on soft padded feet without making any noise that would announce its arrival. And when it comes, it certainly doesn't want. All the feline creatures are similar to the cat. Okay, when they walk, they do not want to understand their presence because they are predators and they have certain stealth about them. Okay, so what is the second thing? It rests over the harbor and city and looks over it. What does it do? It rests over the harbor and the city and looks over it. So how does it say, liken? How does it, what is the similarity then here? Just as a cat sits on its haunches and looks around its surroundings, this is similar. Okay, it rests over the, what rests over the fog. It rests over harbor and the city and looks over it for some time. Just as a cat sits on its haunches, looks around its surroundings. And what is the third thing that is said here? It moves on as silently as it comes, just like a cat does. No, suddenly disappearing without making any sound. The cat, if you observe the cat closely, you'll find that the cat sits for some time at a certain place, and then suddenly, without making any hint, without making any kind of commotion, it just silently walks up and just sneaks away. So this stealth is similarized, likened with the fog. These are the three things by which the poet tries to compare. They brings out the comparison comparison of the fog. Okay. Now, there are certain other questions which are important. What actually comes 1 mark, 2 mark questions. Okay, these are more probable. Okay, 1 mark, 2 mark questions are more probable because from the entire 5 poems that you have, you have only 10 marks actually. So 1 mark, 2 mark are more important. So what question is important from one perspective is, does this poem have any rhyme scheme? So you will say, no, the poem Fog doesn't have any definite rhyme scheme. So what is the way in which it is written? It is written in free verse. You may say it is written in free verse. Okay, there is no rhyme scheme. It is written in free verse. Okay, so what again, another question which is probable is, what does this sitting on haunches mean? The sitting on haunches. Okay, so sitting on haunches mean to sit with the knees bent. Okay, and yes, these are the questions that probably come from this chapter. And yes, of course, harbor. What is a harbor? You must know. Harbor is a port, is it not? And this is the poem Fog by Carl Sandburg. So this was and then do you have the question answers of this poem? Did they send?
Yes, sir.
They sent in the group. They send it in the group. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Did I send all the question answers, or there are any other chapters that is not given?
Sir, Madam writes the bus and the custard or the tail of dragon.
Okay.
These two remain.
Okay, I explained these two, but I did not give the question and answers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll send you the question and answers, and then instead of having these online classes, we shall concentrate more on grammar. What I'll do is I'll try to provide you exercises related to grammar. Okay, and you'll have to say in the morning I shall provide you the question answer. I shall give you the those exercises, and by the evening you have to finish and you have to send. I will send you the correct answer in the evening, and you have to check the correct answers. Okay, that will be more in a way it will be more helpful to you. Okay, then thank you very much. I shall send you those 2 chapters in the school group, okay, where you are. Okay, then I shall remember The Tale of Custard the Dragon and Madam Rides the Bus. These two chapters you have not written. Others, all the chapters I have provided notes, and please don't keep those notes only under your mattresses. Yes, please take them out properly, write them properly, and please try to learn them, memorize. I have given you almost, I've completed almost the whole course. Okay, almost the whole course is completed, but only from your part some more activity is required. Okay, because since you have not faced any exam yet, so it is very imperative, very important that you face at least an exam somehow. Okay, so please be prepared with the notes that I provide, and as I said, I shall discuss with sir also, so that the grammar part is a little bit stronger, then it will be better. Okay, so thank you till then. Bye from my end, and keep yourselves busy. Okay, thank you. So leave, I shall take a line class 9.